Hello everyone, welcome or welcome back to my channel. This is Hazel Lucia Tarot and I'm your tarot reader Stephanie, and today's reading is your singles reading. We're going to see what is going on with you, with your singlehood, romantic wise, what is affecting you past, present, future, and anything that you may need to look out for, as well as anything else that Spirit may want to say. But before we continue, I'd like to talk about my experience with our sponsor, Psychic Source. Psychic Source lets you connect with professional gifted advisors in whichever way you feel the most comfortable, whether that's through phone call, video chat, or through texting. They are one of the oldest and most trusted psychic services in the industry with over 35 years of experience. By using my link below, you can connect with one or multiple advisors for up to 40 minutes for just $19.80. That's up to a $240 value. Even though I'm an intuitive and have been reading tarot for years now, I still sometimes seek wisdom outside of myself or when I need further confirmation on certain life choices. That's where Psychic Source really helps out. They let you connect with professional, experienced, and gifted advisors from the comfort of wherever you are, through phone call, video chat, or text. So try Psychic Source by clicking the link below in the description. The 4 piles we have for you here. In pile 1, we have candle quartz. Pile 2, we have an amethyst point. Pile 3, we have a smoky quartz point. And pile 4, we have this Lemurian or Tibetan quartz point. So take a few deep breaths, open up the heart space, and I'll be ready for your reading whenever you are. Hello there, pile 1. If you chose the candle quartz, then we have a reading here for you about your single life, your singlehood, what's coming up next, what Spirit would like to bring to your attention regarding your singledom, if anything. So I am getting, I'll be honest, the energy I'm tapping in for this particular pile is either very frustrated, annoyed, or just kind of done with the dating life. So some of you could be in that energy right now, or you could be coming out of that energy. But that felt very prevalent because when I was shuffling your cards for you, I just got this feeling of like, I'm just done with this, done with whatever this is. So let's go ahead and read the card you chose. We have wait, don't rush into it, allow nature to take its course. So one reason you could be getting frustrated is because you're doing things a little too quickly. I don't know if you've ever done something like this where, especially with technology, if you swipe something too quickly, it won't read it. Like if you tap your card whenever you're paying too quickly, or what if you, I don't know, like doing something here won't or doesn't allow something to process accurately. You know, maybe some of you are lacking patience, and for some of you, it's like you're not allowing things to pan out and unfold in the way that they naturally are meant to. So for some of you, I feel like and I'm having a hard time taking a deep breath here. Some of you really need to just learn to take a deep breath, not just for your dating life, I think for life in general. I think for some of you, and especially if you suffer from things from anxiety, or if you're prone to being anxious more than most people, there's something here about taking deep breaths, taking your time to smell the roses, allowing things to unfold naturally. There's almost like a feeling that, I don't know why you're in a rush, pile 1, but it almost feels like you're in a rush regardless of what's going on. Even if you're up there in age where you feel like your dating life isn't meant to be as exciting as it once was, again, just take a deep breath. Like I keep saying, take a deep breath here, and I'm having a hard time breathing. Usually when I do these readings, I try to keep a meditative state of mind. But let's go ahead and look at your cards. We're going to start with the oracles and we're going to get into the tarot. So we have 12, Archangel Raziel, mystery, secrets, and protected knowledge. We have Mother Mary, number 18, purity of heart, faith, and conception. So the 12th or the 18th could be important dates. December 18th could also be an important date, which I want to say, I'm not sure if this is like more Mexican or Latino thing, but if you're Catholic and of Latino, I guess Hispanic heritage, I forget what day it is in December. The day of the Virgin Mary, Our Lady of Guadalupe. Maybe that date is of importance here. But there's something here about some of you. Again, it's like feeling like your time has passed, or that your purity has passed. Maybe some of you have some weird hangups regarding body count or something like that. I'm not sure why that's coming through, or even quote virginity. Hopefully I can say that on YouTube, because she is known for being, you know, the Virgin Mary. So for some of you, maybe your biological clock is ticking and you kind of want to have children as soon as possible or whenever is possible. And I'm not really trying to paint that as good or bad. It's up to you, whatever you want to do with your life. But I feel like you can't speed things up just because biologically you feel like you need to. I feel like things are still meant to unfold in the way that they are meant to unfold here, pile 1. Take that only if it resonates. Let's go ahead and get the rest of your cards. We have Knight, number 18 again. So the 18th could be important of any month, really. We have Friends, 25. Another date. Several dates here. I feel like some of you are going to meet a person or a romantic interest through friends. Maybe you already do this, but this is just confirmation that your next person, you will either be friends with them first and foremost, or you're going to meet them through friends. We have Intuition. We have Stop. We have Lotus, Purity. It's interesting that purity comes through twice. Purity of heart and purity. This is number 33. Some of you could be number 33. And then Santa Muerte, Death, which is funny because I was just bringing up the Mexican version of the Virgin Mary, the Mother Mary, our Virgen de Guadalupe, and then Santa Muerte, which is also another, I hesitate to call it a deity. I didn't really grow up with Santa Muerte. It's just more like a concept of holy death here. So there's something about a regeneration for you. It just won't feel as intense as others. There is strong scorpionic energy. So some of you could have strong Scorpio placements, but there's an odd feeling here that some of you feel impure, or that you feel people won't like you because, again, I keep thinking of body count. Maybe some of you feel impure because of the people that you've been with before, or maybe because of your age, or maybe because maybe some of you already have children and you feel like because you have a certain amount of children, people won't want you. There is this feeling that it's just a feeling of lack of being desired. Like some of you feel undesirable is what's coming through. But one way to combat this, oddly enough, is to not just slow down. That's why we have the Stop card. I'm going to put that next to Wait because I feel like they're very similar. There's something about being in tune with the people around you. I feel like one way to make or find really great dates is to begin through friendship. If somebody doesn't even consider a friendship with you, then they don't see you as a person, and there's no reason to even entertain the thought of having anything with them. I don't care what they look like. I don't care how they are on paper. I don't care what they said to you at one point. If they can't fathom the idea of being your friend, a true friend, and seeing you as a person, just throw that whole person out the window. I don't know why that had to come through really strongly, but I feel like some of you are holding on to either the idea of somebody or somebody from your past that maybe they said or did one thing and that's it. But like the whole person, the whole package isn't entirely a fit for you. That's going to be a few of you. I just feel like you needed to hear that. With Night, there is something here about the nighttime. I don't know why I keep getting like messages from when I was younger. But my mother used to say nothing good happens after like 3 a.m. or something like that, like after midnight, nothing. So there's something here about being cautious of the kind of people people become at night. And I say this because I used to be with somebody who would tell me, yeah, I would always pick up girls really easily at like 3 a.m. It's like, yeah, because everybody's tired, everybody's vulnerable. Some of us are consciously or subconsciously in a sleep state, so it's easy to bring down the barriers. So if you're used to meeting people at night, there could be, just be careful. I mean, I'm not going to say that you have to stop meeting people at night. I'm not saying that you should start looking for people in the morning, because I think it all depends on what your schedule is and what your lifestyle is. But do be careful that people become different at night. I'm hearing that song by the Arctic Monkeys. They say he changes when the sun goes down. And I see this a lot with people. Again, I'm thinking of friends. I'm a straight woman, so the only example I can provide, and this isn't to say that there's anything, I'm not trying to hate on men or anything here, I'm just providing my example. You know, when men try to pretend that they're more sensitive or that they're nicer just so that they can get with you, and they're more likely to do this at night or when they're alone with you. But when they're in the space of others, when they're in shared company, when they're with everybody else, they act entirely different. That's what I'm getting. Do be careful about the people that tell you, they'll tell you who you are. Sorry, they'll tell you who they are without words. Just observe their actions, observe the majority of their actions, not just the one nice action that they've done. That's coming through very strongly. Not only that, but while you're out here questioning your purity, question everybody else's as well. We're not all like, we all have such different backgrounds. We all have such different experiences. It's not fair for all of us to be pinned on you. I feel like a lot of you have been dealing with like a lot of like toxic masculinity. I'll be honest. I feel like some of you have had an abundance of it. And I don't think you even mean to get caught up in that. I think it just surrounds you excessively. But I do see your intuition amping up. It's like the more you get exposed to it, the more easily you are to pick up on what it is when you notice it, when you start noticing the signs as a defense mechanism. So with that said, let's move on to the tarot. Because I can tell that you're not surrounded by the best people right now, Pile 1. I want to see your past, present, future. So for my Pile 1, let me make sure that the lighting is still okay. It's good. My room is odd. It's where I film or where I record this. It gets dark, but it doesn't show up as dark in the on the camera because of the lighting. So even though in my room it's dark, like I'm in a little shadowy, shady corner, because of the lighting, it still looks bright on camera, which is very interesting. So I don't know, maybe there's a metaphor in there for you somewhere, even if you are in the shade, in the dark, in the shadows, the light will find you. Pile 1. So I'm gonna do past, present, future, and I may fill in the gaps here. So past energy that you may need to pay attention to or release. 6 of Wands. Let me get the rest of the cards, because like I said, some of you feel like your best days are gone, that like that you've peaked, or that the best you've ever had is in the past, and that is exactly not true, Pile 1. I feel like you can still find the best you will have, because it's like reaching new highs or new heights or whatever the saying is. You keep reaching new things. Let's pay attention to something going on right now, and this could be something you have more control over. You have the 10 of Cups. So right now you're in a great space, even if you're single or even if you're just dating, whatever you are in right now, I feel like you're happy. And focusing on your joy and feeding your happiness is exactly what's going to get you the right kind of person to come in. Because when you set your standards high, don't lower it for anybody. Don't lower it. However happy you are right now, whoever's coming in, they have to keep adding to that. If they subtract from your happiness, they're not for you. So for a lot of you, find your happy place and stay there. Don't come off your happiness for anybody. Something to look for in the future. Overall, I do see positive things coming for you though. We have the 5 of Cups. As long as you focus on the positive. Because here's the thing. I feel like, again, if you keep looking backwards, if you keep looking to your past and think that's the best you've ever had, you're not going to be able to see all the beautiful, wonderful things that are going to be even better for you right now. If you keep looking to the past, you're not going to see what's in front of you. You're not going to see what's in the future. So how do we release the past? How do we get over this whole thinking that the best has already gone by? And again, for some of you, it could even be aging. Maybe you feel like you don't look your best, or that you're not at your highest energy, or whatever the case is. Because the whole notion of peaking isn't even really, to me, it's not really a thing. Because who's to say what anybody's peak is? For some people, the best that they ever had or that they ever were may actually not be the healthiest. I don't know. I feel like that's very subjective. Who's to say? 3 of Swords. Yeah, some of you are you're still holding on to the heartbreak or healing from the heartbreak. There is a heartbreak here. Doesn't matter how long ago it was. I feel like that heartbreak is still very there. And until you fully release it and understand why why either that won't be like, again, like somebody broke your heart, but that doesn't mean you're broken. They didn't break you. They didn't break anything about you. All they did was show you how wrong for you they were. We have the High Priestess. And some of you, like, maybe you're even angry at your own intuition, which I completely understand sometimes, as to why you couldn't see somebody for who they were. Because it's kind of like, either you get mad at yourself and your intuition for not seeing it, or you, like, I'm trying to describe this as accurately as possible. But it's just like being frustrated at them or being frustrated with yourself. And because you no longer want to have anything to do with them, you'd rather be frustrated at yourself. Temperance. And there's still healing to be done here. So there's still some healing, maybe even some stubborn healing. So while chasing your happiness, you can still be healing. Heck, there are people out there who are happy and content and grateful for their lives, who are constantly healing. I feel like that's the thing. It's like, for example, if I can use this as an example, the healthiest people, you know, they don't ever just stop eating healthy and exercising and doing all the things that are positive for them in their life. You know, they continue doing that very thing to keep themselves healthy. And just, again, with happiness, you create your happiness by releasing that which makes you unhappy, or ignoring the things that would make you unhappy. It's a choice. It's something that you can decide to, how am I trying to say this? Because I know maybe it's a little bit, because happiness, it can be a choice, but it's like an active choice. It's not just I choose happiness and then you're happy. It's like, what can I do today that is going to make my life that much better? What can I do right now that is going to make me feel better? It's choosing the things that you know are going to make you feel better. Even if at first they're a little annoying, after a while it's going to feel better, you know? Like taking a shower. Like I used to hate taking showers because the whole notion of like getting into water and making sure that the temperature was right would bother me. But I always feel so amazing and refreshed after a shower because, you know, the body is clean. But it's to do it, and you have to do it every day to maintain your cleanliness. So again, that's an example as to how you maintain your happiness. You choose the things that are, you know, are going to make you happy in the long run. Maybe not in the moment, but in the long run, they will make you happy. And this includes people. Like, don't get me wrong. I understand if there are some, you know, unsavory or toxic people that are fun in the moment, but in the long run, all they do is just mess up your life, or even quite literally come into your space and make a mess. So I feel like for a lot of you, you're going to step into a space where you can intuitively weed out people that are going to be bad for you and choose and accept better people. We have the Wanderer. Again, you just keep looking back to the past. Or maybe there are things within your vicinity that remind you of your past. Maybe you have to deal with people or lovers from your past, and that's kind of difficult to release. The Tower. I do see there being some sort of event or situation or thing that's going to like distract you immensely from the past. This could be something taking up a lot of your present moment. And I feel like the only reason, or one of the reasons, Spirit is bringing this to you is so that you can focus on the moment. You can focus on the now as opposed to the past. So it's going to bring you a great distraction. The Tower moment here isn't, it's a surprise, as in it's a distraction from the past so that you can focus on the now. Back of the deck, we have Three of Cups. And I feel like this comes in the form of friends. Again, your friends are going to be the key here. You're going to make friends with people, and there are going to be people that are friends that are going to eventually turn into lovers, or may connect you with somebody who may eventually be a lover. Yeah, the Forager, the Eight of Cups, the Scientist. I do see some, like, you will be in an oddly emotionally unavailable space when you meet the one for you. And I think you're meant to be, because if you were to put like all of your emotion into this person, you may accidentally self-sabotage. So you may be in a space where you're thinking very non-emotionally or just not emotionally available, but yet you become friends and you still have like, you know, that friendship there. You have a connection there as two human beings who will eventually grow to love each other, or who may love each other right off the bat, but at first platonically and then romantically. But I do see you letting go of this past energy this past whatever it was kind of almost suddenly, because the universe will throw you into something that is going to take up your time, and it may be frustrating at first, but then eventually you'll see exactly why it had to happen that way, because otherwise I don't think you would have ever gotten over whatever this past energy was, whether it's a person, a situation, or the things that you've left behind or that have left you. So with that said, let's go ahead and move on to your closing advice for my pile 1. So I'm doing closing advice with some different cards. I'm not really getting, well, I might get a message. I don't know, it depends. So pile 1. We have embrace. This is beautiful. And I want to say embrace in French is kiss. So there could be something here about a kiss. Also embracing parts of yourself that maybe you've forgotten about. Embracing life, embracing love, embracing the joy and happiness, and embracing your friends. I see some of you having a lot of fun with your friends. We have test. So I'm not saying that the universe will test you. It's more like, again, it's like embracing that life will have its ups and downs, but not letting that get you down. You know, embracing tests, or embracing the challenge, I guess is a better way of seeing this. Then we have create. So some of you may enter a very creative moment in your life as well. I feel like you're going to be creating a lot of wonderful things. If you're more artistic, you could be using your artistic skills more often. Some of you could be creating content or creating a lifestyle, a life, maybe creating money. I feel like you're just cultivating. It's like you're curating the kind of life that you've always wanted, and it's going to look exactly how you want it. And once you get there, you're not going to compromise yourself or the lifestyle you have for anybody. So focus on what makes you happy, and the right people will show up. One last card. We have soul. What speaks to your soul? I feel like a lot of you are turning inwards and looking at your soul. What makes your soul happy? What makes your soul sing? And who resonates with your soul? Like, who meets you there? Because there are people who are very surface level, and then there's people who, when you talk to them, like, you get to the emotion, to the heart, to the soul of things. Back of the deck, trust, yeah. And learning to trust yourself more than anything. Because trusting people, you know, it's 50-50. Doesn't matter who the person is, it'll always be 50-50. But trusting yourself, that's more important than anything. But this is where I leave it, pile 1. Thank you so much for letting me read for you. If you feel like doing so, you can like, comment, and subscribe. And I will see you in the next reading. Take care. Hello there, pile 2. If you chose the amethyst, then we have a reading here for you about what's coming up next in your love life, your singles reading. I guess it doesn't necessarily have to be love life, because I feel like the past, or a previous pile had, it was just checking in on how you are doing romantically, whether there is somebody involved or not, whether you want romance or not, just what's going on in your singles life. So we're going to start with this card and then a bunch of other oracles, and then we're going to get into the tarot to see a past, present, future kind of overview. So the card you chose says, "My beloved, though we may be physically apart, spiritually we are always united, for love transcends space and time." Sorry, for love transcends space and time. Nothing is missing. It's funny how the word transcends and space kind of want to merge together, because they both have like S's at the ending and beginning respectively. So something about transcendence for sure. Also something about feeling whole here. Let's go ahead and get your cards, pile 2. We have peace. We have med, leadership. We have 27, sovereignty, crown. Which is interesting because she is wearing a crown. Not all the goddesses in this deck wear crowns, by the way. So there's something to do with the crown chakra here as well, if you work with chakras, which is our connection to the divine, to spirit, to source, and arguably our connection to ourselves, the highest version of ourselves. We have Father, number 3. And then you got 3 of the Angels and Among Us cards. We have Goddess Lakshmi, prosperity, beauty, fortune, number 28. We have Goddess Kuan Yin, compassion, kindness, and divine mercy. And Saint Bridget, passion, growth, and fire. Lovely energy, very lovely energy. There is something about stepping into your power, but in a peaceful way, because people seem to view power as like a very fiery kind of energy, maybe even masculine energy. I do see some of you healing a masculine wound within yourselves. It could be the father wound. It doesn't necessarily have to correlate, but for a lot of people, masculine energy does sometimes come from their father's side. But there is something about healing either views on masculinity, views on father, like your father, if you had a complicated relationship with your father, or even just, it's healing the masculine side. A lot of you are stepping into an era of peace within yourself, peace with what you have. Also being much more gentler with yourself, regardless of what's going on in your romantic life. And I feel like this is going to open up room and space for, it feels like satisfaction. It feels with self-fulfillment. It feels like being happy regardless of who is in or out of your life, regardless of who may decide to show up or who doesn't show up. After all, maybe some of you have dealt with an absent father or a father who was a little flaky in your life, and that may have impacted how you view partnerships. Especially if you're attracted to men, or even if you're not. It could just, having that nuclear family, the 2-parent household, might have been something that affects the way you view your own life when it comes to either being a parent or just having a partner, whichever makes more sense. But I do feel a lot of you are finding more peace with your independence, with your sovereignty. Sovereignty here meaning that you have control over yourself, and that you have some sort of dignity. It's almost like you're happy the way you are. You truly are. You don't lack for anything. You don't feel like you need anybody. If somebody was to come into your life though, I feel like that's where you would want to focus more on, especially with compassion and prosperity and fortune. It's like, what do people have to add to your life? Because I feel like a lot of you are happily single, content being single, even very fulfilled. But when it comes to matters of the heart or matters of romance, this is where I don't think you necessarily struggle, but you kind of want to see who would fit into this wonderful, beautiful life that you have created. Because I do get a strong sense of peace within yourself. Even though this card says, my beloved, though we may be physically apart, spiritually we are always united. This spiritual unison could just be parts of yourself that make you feel whole and not necessarily somebody else. Of course, I do feel some of you do have like a soulmate kind of person that may be coming forward in the future. Or maybe you have one right now and you're just, not in union. But regardless, it's like the feeling that even if they never showed up, you would be just fine. You would be just as happy, just as content, creating the wonderful, beautiful, peaceful life that you've chosen. There's something very beautiful about this energy, by the way, Pile 2. I really do love your energy. It feels like a temple. And not just like the saying, your body is a temple. I feel like your whole life is a temple that is meant to be respected, that is meant to be in this energy of sanctity. It's your sanctuary. It's sanctified. I keep hearing that. Interestingly, so Goddess Lakshmi is a goddess of luck and beauty. Goddess Kuan Yin is a goddess of compassion. I'm not very familiar with Saint Bridget, but there is a fiery, passionate side to her. So I do feel like one aspect that you're not afraid to show, or that you will not be afraid of showing going forward, is your more passionate side. So this could express itself in different ways, whether that's dressing in a much more sensual way, not just to attract people, but just for yourself to know and understand that, you feel, when you feel gorgeous, you dress gorgeous, and vice versa. I feel like it's an expression of femininity for some of you, or masculinity, depending on what you have. An expression of whatever energy or gender you want to show, to make yourself feel good. This is very much sacral chakra energy as well. And I feel like there's no reason to hide it, when you have it flaunted. But not in an overtly showy way. I feel like you're doing it in a way that you are comfortable doing so. It's just looking good for the sake of looking good. It gives me Queen of Wands energy here, where you want to radiate beauty for the sake of it. There's also something here about very strong feminine energy. So maybe some of you could have friends that, even though you're all very different, you all vibe at the same type of frequency. Like maybe you have one friend who's a lot more kind and very sweet and docile, and you have another friend who's more, you know, into their looks. But one thing all of you have in common is that you appreciate each other's expressions of beauty, love, sovereignty, and complete control over your lives, complete control over yourselves. And I feel like this is all very healthy as well. Like these are friends who are, they're not toxic at all. These are friends who would empower you to feel the very best version of yourself. So you're definitely focusing more on friendships, on your peers. You're focusing on your peace, on your clarity, like the kind of life that you have created for yourself. A lot of you are focusing on that right now. The only thing I do see you wanting to work on, and one thing that may get you closer to finding a romantic partner should you want one, is focusing on that father and or masculine wound within you. I'm going to read from the book for Med because I'm being called to do so. I'm not very familiar with her. This is from the Dark Goddesses Oracle deck. So these are all goddesses that deal with, I don't want to say dark themes, but definitely like that dark feminine. So for Mel, she is an Irish goddess of sovereignty, war, sensuality, and death. She holds the power of the land, and no king may rule without her approval. Exactly. It's like you're being vigilant of who you allow into your life. So, and you know, regardless of what you're into, if you're somebody who's into women, the women you let into your lives. If you're someone who's into men, the men you let into your lives. It's like no one has dominion over your life except yourself and whoever you grant that power to, should you want to grant that power to. She is the goddess of Beltane, and it is in her honor that the May Queen is crowned and people dance around a maypole. So Beltane, the month of May could be important. On May Day, specifically May 1st. So the springtime could be important here, pile 2. She has many lovers and is known for her sensual promiscuity, her physical and mental strength, and fiery will. She is a shapeshifter, but often manifests as a woman with long red hair, dressed for battle, a bird on one shoulder, and a squirrel on the other. That's interesting, because I never knew that. Squirrels are an important animal to me. Like, I love squirrels. I like woodland creatures in general. So squirrels could be an important sign. I know I like to watch, my favorite thing when I'm super bored is to just watch the squirrels in the trees outside my window because they act so weird. So for a lot of you, it's interesting that she's a very sensual goddess here, because I feel like a lot of you are stepping into that in a healthy way. I'm not saying that you're being promiscuous, but should you want to exercise that part of yourself, I feel like you will step into that. You know, if you want to have a little fling here or there, or if you want to exercise that part of yourself in whichever way you see fit, as long as it's healthy. I see very healthy energy here, even healing the father and or masculine wound. So with that said, also some of you are going to dress really nice, because I'm just noticing that all the clothes that these ladies are wearing are like really cute. So there could be something of like a wardrobe glow up for you, pile 2. So let's go ahead and get into the tarot. Loving this energy, by the way. Absolutely love it. So we're going to do past, present, future for pile 2 in their singlehood. What's up next for them? Well, what are we dealing with from the past, first and foremost? And then what we focus on in the present. And then anything to look for in the future. For pile... You're taking your time as well. Like, I'm not feeling rushed. I'm not feeling like... You're taking your time with whatever you're doing right now, pile 2. We have the 4 of Wands. Yeah, some of you could be... This is like... Especially if you did something really great in the past, you're still kind of in the... What's the word? In the glow of it. You know, like the afterglow of something that you've done in the past that makes you feel really good. You can take that as 18 plus as you want. Or this could be like, for example, like when you go on vacation and you come back, you retain that vacation glow because you're in such a good mood of having, you know, done the things you wanted to do, traveled where you wanted to travel, relaxed for however long. I feel like you're prolonging the feel-good aspect of something from the past. So you're actually focusing on like positive things from the past. As to where some people tend to focus on the negative or the nostalgia, you're focusing on like the positive things from the past, which is a very healthy way of viewing previous relationships, previous endeavors, or not endeavors. Oh yeah, no, endeavors. And I'm hearing liaisons for some of you. So I feel like for a lot of you, you look back at the past with with a happy heart, believe it or not. And I feel like that's actually very positive. That's part of the reason why you're stepping into such good energy, or why you're remaining in good energy here, pile 2. So let's get your present moment. What to focus on. Nine of Wands reversed. You know what's interesting? I was hearing a song. It's is it Tom York or is it Radiohead? I can't remember. But it's called The Present Tense, and I'm hearing don't make it heavy. Is that how the song goes? Don't make it heavy, keep it light. Which I think the song itself is actually, I don't know if it's a positive song or not, but I keep hearing don't make it heavy and keep it light. So even when things are bogging you down, you're still keeping things very light. In fact, you go surface level when things get really complicated, and I think that's a good way of remaining. It's like, yeah, you know, things are getting bad, but you're not letting that bring you down. Because the Nine of Wands is a very defensive energy. This is you like, and there's nothing wrong with being defensive, but look at this poor little cat-like thing with a little bite out of its head. It's like, yeah, maybe I'm hurting, maybe I'm going through something, but I'm not letting that bring me down. You're not letting the difficulties, the day-to-day difficulties bring you down, because I really love your energy, pile 2. You're very positive here. It's like, yeah, the days are going to be filled with some not so great things. It's going to be filled with maybe some difficulties or the day-to-day grind, you know, just the mundane, the humdrum, but you're not letting that bog you down. Because I think people sometimes let like the everyday small things gather up within them and it brings them down. So by the end of the week, they're just like exhausted. I feel like you're keeping it very surface level so that nothing brings you down as easily. That's what I'm seeing. So focus on keeping your spirits up, keep anything heavy and negative more surface level. That's one way of preventing it from drowning you, essentially. And then something to look forward in the future. We have the Two of Cups, which is reversed. I'm gonna get clarification on this. And I've been reading this kind of energy in a few of my romantic readings recently, where parting ways with somebody that you know was only meant to be in your life temporarily has become something that a lot of you are becoming very comfortable with. It's like you're not letting the idea of being heartbroken derail you, essentially. Like you're not crashing out over it. You're just accepting with grace that sometimes things don't work out and it's for the better for both you and your person or anybody else involved. So you could see in the future, either you're separating from somebody or somebody could come into your life and maybe there is romantic potential there, but you're not letting that take over your life. Like this would be a crush that you don't become obsessed over. This would be something where you take it very healthily, because the Two of Cups reversed doesn't necessarily mean that there has to be a separation, though for some of you, if you know there is one, that's just confirmation. For those of you who currently don't have anybody, this would be somebody coming into your life and very cautiously approaching this connection. In fact, you may take it excruciatingly slow, because the peace you've created, the life you've created is so, again, it's sanctified, it's so peaceful and heavenly that you're not just going to let anybody through. You know, you went out of your way for years even to create this beautiful life you have. Why would you just let anybody crash in through? Let's get some clarifiers. We have the Three of Swords. Yeah, it's like you're done being heartbroken. You refuse to be heartbroken ever again, which I mean, I love the idea. I don't think we can fully prevent it, but even if you were to get heartbroken again in the future, pile 2, I feel like you would handle it so beautifully, or much more, I'm hearing poetically, but I was going to say much more gracefully than you have in the past. And the Eight of Pentacles. Okay, some of you could actually become a little bit workaholic in order to avoid personal relationships, which there's nothing wrong in focusing on yourself, your career, and everything that you're meant to build up here, pile 2. But I feel like there is a little bit of a warning of not isolating yourself so much that you forget to make some really great both friendships and relationships, romantic relationships here. I feel like Spirit is going to want to bring in people that you're meant to get to know on a personal basis, but you may be a little closed off. And I get it. You want to protect your peace. That's a wonderful thing to do. Yes, protect your peace. But if somebody does have something positive to offer you, don't be afraid of opening yourself up to them and vice versa. I feel like you are going to keep a very healthy distance between the people that come into your life from now on. Back of the deck, we have the Page of Cups, because there are people coming into your life. People do want to get to know you. Seven of Cups, and you'll have multiple options. In fact, I'm also hearing it's going to be a multiple quality of people. So some of them are going to be friendships, like just platonic, plain friendships, and some of them will have the opportunities to be romantic connections. Temperance reversed. And I feel like every now and then you may get a trigger from meeting certain people or being around certain people as to where you still need to heal. Again, like I said, some of you have like masculine wounds or father wounds that you may need to work on. But you're doing so at your pace, and you're doing so in a very healthy manner. And underneath that, the Magician and the Star. Yeah, just remember that you have such control over your life. You have so much power that you may even be impacting people around you and you're not aware. For example, when people shine their brightest, when their aura is really bright, when their energy is really high, like people will naturally want to gravitate toward them, because both high vibrational and low vibrational people, you know, it's just like something's shining so brightly, they can't help but be attracted to it. However, it doesn't always have a filter. And I feel like this is where you're keeping your feelers up, where you're keeping vigilant of who you let into your life. Ten of Swords, because the last thing you want is to be overburdened by people who don't mean well for you, or who are just seeking to drain you, whether they are aware of this or not. So up next in your singlehood is you just being very vigilant of who you let in and out of your life. And this will include friendships. I'm seeing friendships for some of you as well. After all, the kind of friendships you call into your life will also be a determining factor of the kind of romantic relationships you allow into your life. Even if your friends and lovers don't always mix, I feel like in this case, you're going to start seeing, the similarities between the two, you know? If you have friends who like to boss you around, chances are you're also going to attract a romantic partner who bosses you around. Or even if it's the opposite, you know, I feel like there's going to be some sort of, in fact, that makes sense with the Temperance card, because Temperance is healing, but it's also balancing things out here, you know, balancing the things that you need to do. And I just can't help but notice it says Employee of the Month back here. So yeah, maybe some of you are focusing on work so much that you end up becoming Employee of the Month or year or whatever. But even in the workspace, friends and love, you won't be able to avoid it entirely. I feel like it will work itself into your life somehow, and Spirit is just reminding you to not be afraid to let people in a healthy way. So with that said, let's go ahead and get into your closing advice. So for closing advice, I'm using Oracle cards again, just for anything else that needs to come through regarding your single life, pile 2. So pile 2, Lake Buena Vista is coming through, and I want to say that's the lake that is near Disney World, in case that is of importance to anybody here. I mean, that could just be me. I swear, I'm one of those Disney people. I love going there just for fun. Maybe that's just it calling me, but it could also be calling some of you to go on vacation or go to your happy place. Even if it's not a vacation, it could be somewhere that that brings out the inner child, that brings out that happy version of you. We have Silence, which goes along with that Peace card from the Oracles. We have Wish. Now I'm hearing When You Wish Upon a Star. Maybe this is my lovers of Disney movies as well. But it also makes me think of the Star in the tarot, where you have a lot of hopefulness within you, pile 2. I feel like, again, you're not really bothered by whether you have somebody in your life romantically or not, but you don't also, like, you keep wishing for somebody, but if they also don't show up, then you know that you can show up for yourself. This could also have something to do with, like, you know how we have that happily ever after view, like a very traditional, or maybe what's the word, conventional way of viewing happily ever after. I feel like your happily ever after is something that you're going to be revisiting. We have Boundary. Oh yeah, you're definitely not revisiting your boundaries. It's more like you're reviewing your boundaries to see if they make sense to you. But I feel like for a lot of you, you do have great boundaries. And the last card, we have simplify. Yeah. Silence, wish, boundary, and simplify. I feel like you will keep things simple. If things get complicated, it's not for you. And I feel like you know and understand this and practice. This card always makes me think of yoga classes because they're on mats, or Pilates classes, any kind of class where you're exercising on mats. But maybe I'm also seeing you dedicating your time to yourself here, to your health and to your body, both health and mind, body and spirit. But this is where I leave it, pile 2. Thank you so much for letting me read for you. If you feel like doing so, you can like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next reading. Take care. Hello there, pile 3. If you chose the smoky quartz point, then we have a reading here for you about your singlehood. What's going on in your single life, past, present, future, as well as any other messages that spirit may want to come through. We're going to start with the messages. We're going to start with where you may be at right now in your romantic life. So let's start with the card that you chose. We have balance. Love is not always about agreeing just for the sake of it. A great relationship is one that both supports and challenges. This makes me think of Libra energy. And I love Libras. I'm not even saying this is a bad thing. But Libra energy can sometimes want to keep the peace and not start arguments or not start any conflict. However, avoiding conflict is a conflict in and of itself. I'm just saying that from the Libras that I know, which are quite a few actually. It's in my 7th house, so I feel like I'm naturally drawn to that energy. But there is something here about keeping your romantic life at balance, and not just with like the compromises you're willing to make in relationships, but also like how much you're willing to invest in romantic relationships versus, for example, your friends or family, or even yourself here. So let's go ahead and get the cards. Look at the cards that have been pre-selected for you. We have Chance Dice, number 14. We have Ixchel, compassion. She is a medicine goddess of, is it Aztec or Mayan mythology? I don't remember. I know the area she's from. She's from like, she's from Mexico and Mayan, that area. But I forget if it's Mayan or Aztec, because there's something about blurring lines here, by the way. There's something about like not knowing whether something is this or that. So maybe a lot of you have been dealing with, for example, relationships where you don't know if you are something or if you're not. Maybe situationship energy here as well. We also have protection. We have the devil, not the devil, number 6. Which number 6 is also a number of partnerships and community, family. We have Jesus, number 17, forgiveness, compassion, the spiritual teacher. So I guess if you were concerned with that devil card, here's Jesus. Sorry, pile 3. No disrespect to anybody's belief or religion here. I just thought that was kind of funny. It's like somebody meeting their match, or like even counterpart energy. It's like light versus dark, yin, yang. For some reason, I'm getting good versus evil. And then we have Archangel Michael. Clarity, truth, and protection. Protection is here twice. So I do get the feeling that you're very protected from people who would otherwise not have anything positive here for you. It's almost like, because you're such a kind-hearted and beautiful person, I feel like you sometimes have a hard time not setting boundaries per se. I feel like you're okay with that, but it's either trusting or judging people based on what you see. So there's something here about trusting people, and maybe you're the kind of person, again, so much love to you, pile 3, that maybe your friends tell you that somebody isn't good for you, but your love for them or your compassion for them is so strong that even if they're not good for you, you're still willing to give them all your love, or even like the shirt off your back. You're very generous, you're very giving and very loving. So I feel like for a lot of you, there's a balance here between giving to others and giving to yourself. What I do love about this is that you have the capacity to forgive anything. And if you've ever been in a connection where you may even forgive people if, for example, they've been unfaithful, or if they've done things that you otherwise would not have been happy with, like they compromised your values, your wishes, etc., and you've forgiven here. And I feel like that is okay to an extent, but when it becomes a pattern that doesn't change, or where this person starts taking advantage of that generosity, forgiveness, and kind, loving heart that you have, I feel like this is where the universe is stepping in, or maybe even other people that the universe has brought in for you is stepping in to protect you. Archangel Michael, because I do work with the archangels from time to time, is a very protective archangel. He's the one, actually, he has the sword right there on his shirt. He's the one who you call upon when you need to decord or detach from situations or people or energies that are not beneficial for you. He is a vanquisher of quote, quote, evil. And I think it has to be said evil because I think there are certain people here, pile 3, that you do have to start seeing in a more black and white sense, because the grayness, the in-between stages, that haziness is something that you may need to start being more aware of, especially, yeah, look at I said grayness, and this entire card looks very gray. And there's even the yin yang symbol right there. Again, light, dark, good, evil, masculine, feminine. Though here I feel like we're dealing more with like good and evil for whatever reason. Maybe there have been people in your life who have not been the greatest, but because you have such compassion for them, you keep allowing them back into your life. With chance and dice, I am seeing that you kind of leave you let the universe bring you what it brings you. You're not here to make, or at least you personally at this moment in time, you're not here to make decisions, or you don't really feel like being the one to make all the decisions or take control of everything. You allow things to happen. You allow life to play out as it is, which is great in certain aspects. But when it comes to keeping your peace and being safe and being protected, I feel like there's going to be almost divine intervention. If it's not divine intervention, it could even be the people around you, because I do see very strong protective energy, specifically very masculine protective energy here, just because Archangel Michael and Jesus are 2 of the more masculine figures in this deck. Yeah, because what's the story with Jesus and and is it Judas who betrayed him? That's what I'm getting. And I understand wanting to have compassion and forgiving people even though they've done you wrong. But that doesn't mean that you don't set boundaries. That doesn't mean that you have to accept everything and everyone that they do, is what I'm hearing. There's something here about having respect for yourself. I feel like you already do. Like, I don't want to make it sound like you don't have respect for yourself, pile 3, because I feel like you do. I think you just have a different perspective from what other people are telling you, because I keep hearing like you take on the opinions and the viewpoints of others. Hence, this is why you're here. You wanting to see like what's coming up for your life right now, especially if you're letting go of somebody, because I do see you either letting go or keeping somebody at a distance, or wondering whether you should let somebody back into your life or not. And right now it feels like no, because this person, much like the Devil card in the tarot, could be dealing with some bad habits or habits that would not be really great for you. Like, even if it's not affecting them, it could be affecting you. I mean, dice makes me think of gambling. Maybe this person gambles, or they're very irresponsible with their money or time or livelihood. I'm not sure. They could just do some irresponsible things that could end up affecting you in the long run. Numbers coming through just because they happen to be here. I actually have Capricorn coming through, which does correspond with the Devil in tarot. But I don't necessarily think, like, it's not to say that Capricorns are evil or anything like that. It's just the reason why Saturn, the Devil, and Capricorn are all related is because there's something here about ambition. Somebody's ambition could be getting in the way of you living the life you want, or somebody could be very ambitious and it could be detrimental to you in some way, shape, or form. But we have number 1, which would be January. So January 14th or 17th, which again would be Capricorn. January 6th, which could also be Capricorn. Specifically, that is Epiphany Day. Some of you must be like Christian or come from like a strongly Christian background, because again, Jesus, Devil, Epiphany Day, those are all like big things. Or at least Epiphany Day, that's the 3 Kings Day, the 3 Magi. In Latin America, and I think Spain as well, is it's like a bigger deal. Like, people celebrate it. And my sister happens to be born that day as well. So yeah, Capricorn energy is strong here for sure. Some of you could be going through a Saturn return as well, just because I happen to bring all of that up. And there's definitely healing. But yeah, there's also... Let's move on. I wanna see specifically what's coming up next for you. But mostly I see you trying to keep people, or Spirit is advising you to keep people that you know aren't great for you at a distance, no matter how much your love or how much your heart has space for them. So past, present, future for my pile 3. We have the Nine of Wands. It's like you no longer want to keep fighting. You don't even want to have to keep dealing with the situation of whatever it is that you're trying to leave behind. I really do see you trying to release energy, release a burden. And right now you're focusing on your own stability. Beautiful card. Absolutely beautiful card. I feel like you're focusing on your health, your wealth, and everything that gives you peace. Definitely trying to build your life here as well. And future, I see the Forager, which I'm going to get a second card for. This is a card specific to this deck, which is about looking for things. Reversed, it's like you're eventually going to enter a state where you're no longer having to forage, quote, quote. Where you're no longer going to have to keep looking for parts and pieces of yourself that you feel are missing, because you're going to understand and realize that all those pieces have been within yourself this entire time. For example, if you're looking for a home or a place to stay, you're going to recognize that as long as you have everything that you need, you do have your home. So, and it could also literally be finding a place that is more stable for you to build your life on. Let's get Seven of Swords. It's almost like you have this energy where you keep having to look behind or keep track of everything. It's almost hyper vigilant. What's the word? It's like being in survival mode, and I feel like you're working towards an energy where you no longer have to be in survival mode, not just in your romantic life, but in your life in general. And I feel like the only reason it's being brought up here in this reading, pile 3, is because one way that you've actually been looking for partners that you may or may not be consciously aware of is that you're looking for a survival mode type of partnerships. What that means is that you look for people that can protect you and take care of you. However, you have to ask yourself why that is and why you can't protect and take care of yourself. It's almost like you're looking, this is just an example and it's a very superficial example, but it's the best way I can think of. Like, some people, they like to look for people with very specific physical traits, like, oh, I want somebody with muscles, I want somebody who's tall, I want somebody that has this body type because this body type means this, and that. But the truth is that body type has nothing to do with what they're looking for. What they're looking for can be found in anybody who's willing to provide it, regardless of how they look or regardless of what they say. It's the doing. It's like, what are they doing to show you proof that that's what they provide? Because somebody with a lot of muscles may seem like they can take care of you, but they may be an actual scaredy cat, or no, what's the word? Like, they might be afraid of everything. I say this because, well, let me not provide personal examples, that'd be rude. But, you know, I've seen it where I know people who are very physically fit, very physically strong, but can they protect anybody? No, because they typically have a personality where they would never want to start a fight, where they don't want to be in confrontation, they don't want conflict. You know, there's something here that you're looking for something, but it's not exactly aligning or matching up with what you actually want. So, and again, I see this a lot with people who care about like height. Like, I've never cared about height in relationships. Maybe because I'm short and I'm a girl and that's easy for me. But I know people who, you know, they have height minimums and maximums, etc., because they somehow feel that a tall person will do X, Y, and Z for them. Which I get it if you want them to reach the top of a shelf, but that's what step stools are for, you know. And what they're really looking for is somebody who has a more defining presence. I feel like that's what they truly mean when they want somebody who's tall, or somebody who looks good on their arm, or somebody who looks like they can protect. It's like, I feel like some of you may be attributing certain physical features or certain traits. Again, people who look for people who make a lot of money because they want that quote, quote, financial security. However, just because somebody makes a lot of money doesn't mean that they're going to give you that money. They may give you an allowance, or they may be stingy with that money, or they may just like expect you to pay for everything. I say that because, again, things that I've seen. Ask yourself what you're looking for and why exactly that is. And is that aligning with the kind of people that you've been dating? Because I feel like you look for something and somehow you end up not getting it. Just like when people, again, just one last example, people who date people who are like super smoking hot, you know, like the most attractive person they've ever met, but they can be like dull, boring, or even like in bed, they're not it. That's what I'm getting. Some of you've been chasing the wrong thing and not looking inwards. And not to shame you or to make you feel bad about it. I just feel like you've been going the wrong way about looking for relationships here, pile 3. I feel like a lot of you have dated a lot as well, because I'm getting like a lot of examples. But even if you haven't, ask yourself why you're seeking certain things in relationships. All right, let's get more clarifiers. We have the Hermit. We have the Six of Swords. So some of you could be in a transition phase. Maybe you're moving quite literally from one place to another, or you could be focusing on the self, because the Six of Swords doesn't necessarily always mean like a physical trip. It could also be like a journey of the soul where you're rediscovering yourself, especially with the Hermit here, so that you can understand yourself a little bit more. I feel like Spirit is guiding you to do this because, again, there's a lot of internal work to be done, because on the outside you're trying to let something go, and when you let something go, that reconfigurates something within yourself so that you become almost a new person, and or you have new standards going forward in dating and in romance. Yeah, the Ace of Swords. It's a newness. It's like a clarity that you've been needing or seeking. It's like you're going to start seeing people differently. And this does happen with time and age and experience. Like we just get attracted to different kinds of people and maybe even new kinds of people. I see your preferences shifting big time. Like you may even be in this transition phase currently, and maybe some of what I've said has already been ringing true for you, Pile 3. But I see you looking at love relationships and specifically the people you are attracted to in a different light. Back of the deck, Ace of Pentacles. And until you do so, I feel like you're not going to be able to find something solid, because what you need and what you're looking for are not exactly in sync just yet. Again, people can promise you everything, but if they deliver nothing, what do those words mean? They're nothing but words. And that's something that's going to be a topic here. Yeah, Seven of Cups. Because maybe for some of you, you could even recognize that by doing this, your choices are going to dwindle. Like you're going to have from having a lot of options to like a few options. And that's okay. You're going to be much more selective, and being selective is a great thing, because that's part of your healing, is seeing who and who isn't worthy of your time, attention, and energy. I actually like this, Pile 3, because I can tell that you're going to be putting in a lot of work and effort into understanding why exactly you're attracted to certain types and not other types. I see this a lot with, again, just speaking from my experience, younger women who, as they get older, they start becoming attracted to people of higher quality. And I say this because I think the whole boy crazy is kind of pushed on younger girls. Maybe it is on younger guys as well. I just can't speak from that perspective, which is why I can't provide that example. But you know, our tastes change as we get older, because we seek more stability and, you know, responsible traits in people, as opposed to their looks or their lifestyle, etc. So that's what I see for you, Pile 3. Your preferences are changing for the better. Let's go ahead and get your closing cards, which are going to be some oracle cards. So Pile 3, we have Union. We have Express. You will have somebody. I feel like you're somebody who just, either you date a lot or you have no difficulty in finding people to date. But again, don't forget what I said. Be selective with all your options. You may have a lot of options, so don't be afraid to be picky. We have boundaries. Yeah, you're resetting boundaries. You're reconfiguring what your boundaries mean to you. And feel. Something about expressing how you feel as well is important here. Maybe some of you, again, you keep quiet to keep the peace, or you don't express your true opinion just so somebody won't have a negative view of you. But what I'm seeing is that you need to be honest in order to attract honesty from others and guide. Yeah, I feel like your guides have been trying to tell you this for some time, but also some of your friends could literally be guiding you in a certain direction. Make sure that it's a direction that you're okay going down. But this is where I leave it, Pile. Not just your friends, but also your partners. So make sure that you're going down a path that you want to go down, that you know you're okay with, that absolutely makes you happy. But this is where I leave it, Pile 3. Thank you so much for letting me read for you. If you feel like doing so, you can like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next reading. Take care. Hey there, Pile 4. If you chose the Tibetan or Lemurian quartz, then we have your reading here for you about your singlehood, what is coming up next in your love life, if anything at all, and anything that you need to focus on regarding your romantic life, your singlehood, etc. So let's go ahead and look at the cards that you chose. We have Transformation. Your relationship with one another is about to deepen. Love conquers and transforms all things. So this could be a transformation within yourself. This could be a transformation with you and somebody else. I feel like things are changing, and for for something positive here. So let's go ahead and get the rest of your oracles. We have caution. We have reflection mirror, number 7. We have Pele, passion. We have Goddess Kuan Yin, number 30, compassion, kindness, divine mercy. And then we have beauty and mirror. Interesting that mirror came through twice. Not only that, but it's number 7 and number 14. These are two very different oracle decks that have nothing to do with each other, at least to my knowledge. So the fact that we have 7 and 14, there could be a doubling of something here. With beauty and compassion and kindness and regular passion and compassion, I feel like there's something about you stepping into a softer energy, a softer light. You could definitely be going, I feel like you are going to go through a glow up of some sort. But I'm also seeing the caution card lets me know that I feel like it's kind of like be careful of what you're attracting, or be aware of who and what you're attracting. Because you are stepping into such a soft, more loving energy. You could let in almost anybody. Maybe you came from a previous pile. There are several previous piles that have had similar messages to what I'm saying right now, but in different aspects. The best way I can describe this, and it has to be through a personal example, otherwise I wouldn't know how to describe it. Because I had to have this explained to me. I had gone through a bit of a transformation, a healing. I had opened up the heart space. I had just gone through a breakup and decided to heal myself, so I did. The connection I had after that was something that I felt very intensely. But the person that I was with didn't feel it as intensely, or even if they did, it was something that they weren't ready for. So there's a similar message here where you're about to go through a transformation. You're going to be in an era, in a space where you're ready for a lot more, and I don't think everybody around you is going to be ready to give you this very same energy back. That's why you have reflection twice. It's kind of like, make sure that the people you want to be with, that want to be with you, that you both want the exact same things, or that you provide the same level of intensity, the same level of dedication to each other. Because I do feel a lot of you, you're attracting somebody. Your quality is very magnetic. You're very much wifey, hubby material. Your commitment material here. Because people acknowledge and see your beauty. Pele is a goddess of passion. I'm going to read for her, because to me, she's a goddess of volcanoes. And to me, volcanoes is like very earthy, fiery, and fertile energy here. Some of you could become very fertile at this moment in time as well. Maybe some of you are hitting your 30s. And believe it or not, me personally, when I hit my 30s, I felt like I still feel like I'm at my best self here, because I know who I am. I'm still young enough to do fun, crazy stuff, but old enough to know better. So I feel like some of you, especially if you're approaching your 30s, if you think it gets easier, it does, because you know yourself. However, the people around you may or may not get easier. It might be easier to see through them, but to get somebody on your level may not be as easy, if that makes any sense. I feel like for this pile, I have to provide personal experience, because I understand this energy, but I don't exactly know how to put it into words. But let me read for Pele, Hawaiian goddess Pele. She's one of my favorites, actually. She is the Hawaiian goddess of volcanoes, fire, and lava. She created the Hawaiian Islands and is honored as both a provider and destroyer. Pele sailed from the island of Tahiti in a canoe and birthed each Hawaiian island from volcanic eruptions. She made her home in the volcano of Kilauea on the big island of Hawaii. She has a fiery temper and may curse anyone who is disrespectful or dares take lava rocks or plants from her volcano. Pele may manifest in many forms, including that of a beautiful young woman or an old woman accompanied by a little white dog. Again, it's like the in-between stage of feeling very youthful but also very old. Like maybe you feel both at once, pile 4, like both very youthful in heart and spirit, but very wise in mind and soul. There is something here about not being afraid to show your fiery passion. Compassion and passion are both here and there. I know they mean different things, but I keep like getting those two words mixed up. Maybe your compassion comes along with passion and vice versa. But there's something here about letting your fiery nature show. There's also something about the untamable, that which you can't really help, or that which is meant to run wild. So I feel like you're about to step into this energy of doing whatever you want, not really caring. And oddly enough, that attracts people because you're being authentic to yourself. You're being a very honest and true version of yourself. Have you ever seen people who, like, the more attitude they have and the more snarky they are, for whatever reason, people like them even more, not just because they're saying what everybody else is thinking, but because it's just a very honest and blunt way of being. I feel like some of you are going to step into that energy if you're not already there yourself. It's definitely giving strong fire vibes. So Leo, Sagittarius, and Aries, specifically Venus in those signs. So I feel like a lot of you, you're about to step into an energy where you're going to be attracting people like on every front, on every level, both through your beauty, through your kindness, and through your fiery, passionate side. And just make sure that you're attracting the right people. Don't settle for anybody who isn't giving you the exact same thing and or is capable of handling you in this kind of energy. Because again, take that background noise if you can hear it as a confirmation. You want to be able to let in people that you can trust. I feel like you're so busy being your most authentic version of yourself that you forget that people aren't always the most authentic versions of themselves. So with that in mind, let's go ahead and move on to the tarot. Love this energy, by the way. It's like you're feeling more sure of yourself. Definitely much more confident. So we're doing past, present, future for the tarot. So past is like something you're looking, either releasing or that is inspiring you at this moment. We have the 10 of Cups. This is beautiful. It's like you know what makes you happy. You know what you want. I feel like you absolutely understand now what it is that you want out of life, out of relationships, out of romance, whether that's to be committed or non-committed, or what exactly it is that you may want out of somebody. So this is a good, it's almost like I see you with a checklist of all the things that you want in a relationship or out of a relationship. So the present card is going to be what you need to focus on, or what you may be focusing on right now. We have the 4 of Wands. You're definitely in this joyous energy. I feel like if you're single right now, you're actually enjoying it. Like you like having the option to have somebody, to not have somebody. You like that you have options in dating. And oddly enough, even though you do want commitment, it's like you're not desperate for commitment. You're enjoying yourself regardless, because again, you've changed so much, or you're going to change so much, that you have to be careful who you let in and make sure that these people are also on your level. It could be that maybe some of you are casually seeing somebody or certain people, like a certain amount of people, and you could even be outgrowing some of them. And then the last card, which is future energy, what to look forward to or what to beware of. We have the Page of Cups. Beware of people's emotional immaturity. It's not that they're emotionally unavailable, quite the opposite. It's more emotional immaturity. This is somebody who promises you something that they can't really give you, or maybe they'll say something just for the heck of like keeping you in their life. Because I do see people wanting to hang on to you because they love your energy, they love what you provide for them, both emotionally, physically, maybe financially, sensually, whatever it is. I see you attracting younger people as well. So if you don't want that, make sure you make it very make sure you set those boundaries. But I feel like for a lot of you, you're attracting people who are not at your emotional level. And at the same time, I just see a lot of people having a crush on you. To me, the Page of Cups is like the crush card. This is somebody who really likes you, but they may not be there entirely, or they may not be able to meet you where you are. So somebody can like you, but if they're dealing, for example, with like a divorce or a baby mama, or they're drowning in debt, it's like they can't be there for you 100%. Yeah, somebody who can't meet you at your level. So do be careful with that. Even if you, again, like them back, or if you also reciprocate feelings, ask yourself how patient you're willing to be until they get to that point. And until then, focus on you. Let's go ahead and get, not connecting energies, but clarifiers. Overall positive things here, pile 4. You know who you are. You know what you want. You accept the transformation, and This will only lead to wonderful things. Because yeah, the Three of Swords reverse, you're no longer dealing with heartbreak. You refuse to deal with heartbreak. Again, this feels like a similar pile. I forget which one it was, but if you're coming from that pile, and I'm just reaffirming what I said there, take it as confirmation. But you're no longer allowing things to get you down. And Two of Cups. And oddly enough, you're gonna have a lot of people that want to be in relationships with you. You're attracting people left and right. Just be careful of who you let in, because not everybody will meet you at your level. Can we get, okay, so how can they avoid people who aren't at their level? I'm asking a specific question because you keep getting that message coming through. How can pile 4 avoid people who are not at their level, or how can they reject them, or how can they attract somebody who is at their level? The Forager and Six of Swords. You're not currently in the right environment to find somebody who's going to meet you. This could be taken literally as in like you're not in the right location for the kind of people that you're meant to attract. So for example, if you live out in the suburbs, chances are it's hard to find single people, because most people who live in the suburbs are going to be, you know, people with families, people who are older, people who, you know, they're already married with children, etc. Or people who have children and are also looking for people who have children, like that kind of energy. And if that's not what you're looking for, that's not the environment for you. Or you could be, and I hate saying this because I don't mean to judge it. I don't mean to say, like, I'm trying not to make it seem like certain cultures or backgrounds or even countries are worse than others, which they're not. But maybe there's a culture where you live, or like a mindset where you live, where the kind of person you are isn't something that people really go for. If that makes any sense. Like maybe you live in an area where, I don't know, I feel like strong independent women are everywhere now, but maybe you happen to live in an area where that's not the norm, or like women are expected to make less than men somehow, or something along those lines. Again, take that as it resonates. I just feel like you're not in the right area. If you're part of the LGBTQ A community, maybe you're in an area where you can't really find many people like you, or if you do, you know, it's very limited to like the 2-3 people you know in your town. And you need a wider variety. So for some of you, you could turn to online dating, or you could literally be moving or going somewhere, again, part of that transformation, to find people more suited to the kind of person that you want, or the kind of person that is meant for you. On the back of the deck, we have 4 of Cups. Yeah. Because right now it's like you're emotionally, you yourself may decide to become emotionally unavailable, because like I said, the quality of people around you are just not the kind of people that you would date. Another way I'm seeing this is like, it's not that people are attracted to you. I just think you're not attracted to the people where you live. If I'm being honest, even if you're trying to, it's like, go get a better selection of people somehow, somewhere. Either you're going to move to that area, or they're going to come to you, or you could seek them out online. But honestly, this feels like an environment, because the Forager, think about it, you're foraging for dates and love here. But reverse, it's like you can't find anything. I know it's a weird message, but that actually comes through a lot in readings. But this is what I have for you, pile 4. Let's go ahead and get your closing messages. For my pile 4. We have sovereignty, we have home. So your home could be of importance. Maybe you're finding a new home. Maybe you're looking for a home that gives you sovereignty. Also, notice in this house, she looks like she's way too small for that little house, that little confined space. Some of you, again, you've outgrown not just a certain type of person or people, but you've outgrown your environment and you're moving on to better things. This environment, again, could be literal, like the actual space and location you're in, or the emotional, mental environment that you've been in. We have courage. Very courageous energy. Yeah, you're very confident. That's another way I see courage. And joy. And you're following your bliss. I love how positive and happy your cards have been here, pile 4. I can tell that regardless of what happens, you're going to be great. And desire. Also, not being afraid to express your desires or follow your desires even. Yeah, it's like no blockages can can stop you from either giving or receiving the things that you want. Also, you're going to have a lot of fun here. So I see wonderful, happy things coming forward for you. Just be careful of who you let in, because not everybody is up to your level. But this is where I leave it, pile 4. Thank you so much for letting me read for you. If you feel like doing so, you can like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next reading. Take care.